Schedule 1 is coming to Steam Decks and consoles. And no, this isn't clickbait. Tyler just released an update that adds controller support to the game, along with a ton of other bug fixes and performance improvements. Now, I know it sounds boring and a little lackluster, but you gotta realize that everything in this game is designed for mouse and keyboard, and since we want to get this game out on consoles, this was a necessary evil. I mean, I can already imagine how tricky this was to get right. Just packaging your weed or doing the chemistry station requires a lot of weird inputs, but they managed to pull it off anyways. And honestly, this is a very good sign that a console release is coming soon. I mean, you don't spend a whole month working on controller support if you don't plan on releasing it to Xbox or PlayStation. Now, in order to take part in the controller experience on PC, just go to the controller settings on the Steam library page, enable Steam input, and make sure to select the gamepad template. It's very important you do not select the mouse plus WASD template. Otherwise, Steam will just emulate the keyboard and mouse using a controller, and you won't get any of the new functionality that was added. The game supports PlayStation, Steam, Xbox, and Nintendo input prompts, and the game automatically detects what type of controller you're using. And seriously, I tested a bunch of different controllers and they all worked flawlessly. Let me show you some of the changes. For now, we're gonna focus on the main menu. If you flick your stick down to the settings option, you'll notice a blue box around the selected menu object. This makes it very easy to tell where you currently are in the menu. You can use the D-pad or the joystick to navigate up and down this menu. If you press the upper left and right triggers, it'll navigate to the other tabs, and while you're looking there, you may notice that a brand new menu has been added. Under the gamepad tab, you can find and adjust all of the bindings for the controller. D-pad up lets you look at your character, and A makes you jump. And honestly, remapping these keybinds I think is going to be a massive deal when it comes to speedrunning. Pretty much every single action has a corresponding gamepad binding, except for one, the journal. But honestly, the only time I've ever used the journal hotkey is when I thought I was typing in the console, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, for the most part, the game looks pretty much the same, but there are some parts that have been changed to accommodate for the controllers. The most notable change is probably to the shop UI. The add to cart button and the hashtag has now been replaced with a sleek item count instead. On keyboard and mouse, you can click the number and change the count directly, but on controller, you use the A or the X button to increase or decrease the count. And don't worry if you're jealous of the keyboard's ability to type in a big number directly. The controllers get an exclusive binding that lets them increase and decrease the number by 10, which lets you just hold down the right trigger to add as many of the items as you want. Another privilege the controller users get is the ability to confirm purchases. In order to purchase something, you need to hold down the Y button for about a second. This will save you from Charles judging the expression as you accidentally bought 360 jugs of horse semen at 4 AM. Thank you, Tyler. Very cool. Another UI change is the inclusion of the save name on the pause screen, a button for stopping the pickpocket arrow, and a new interface for the new mix discovery screen. Moving on to the next UI changes, pretty much every player task has also gotten an update. One change that is absolutely going to change speedrunning is snapping onto buds or leaves when harvesting. This is an absolute game changer. It's basically aim assist. If you're using a controller, you just flick the stick and it'll automatically move to the next thing for you to harvest, and all you have to do afterwards is click a button. In my testing, I was a few seconds faster using the controller over a mouse and keyboard, and in a speed run where the world record is under 50 seconds, even shaving off 3 seconds is absolutely massive. And on the chemistry station, you get a virtual cursor which you can reposition using the joysticks. The rest of the task works exactly the same as it does on keyboard and mouse, with one pretty big exception. You see, Tyler made it so that the Bunsen burner can be set to a medium temperature using the joysticks, and it doesn't check if the mouse button is held down, which means you can just set it at medium and you don't have to worry about blowing up inside of the storage unit. The same goes for walking, skateboarding, and driving. It no longer just checks if you're holding the key down, it checks how much you're holding it down. I was actually able to predict this update almost a year ago thanks to a left-handed viewer who noticed that the skateboard was behaving differently after an update. I saw the comment on a video and it got me thinking, so I went to check the function that handles the skateboard's input, and the exact lines of code that we're using today to go at half speeds using the joystick were the exact same lines of code that he put in over a year ago that were just quietly sitting in the background unused. Kinda crazy what a YouTube comment led to. So if you want more future predicting content, make sure you subscribe. And speaking of predicting the future, I mentioned earlier that the controller support can be used in a very special way, and I predict controller support will change speedrunning. I'm serious about this. A lot of video game speedrunning tech utilizes the ability to swap to using a controller in the middle of the run, and since Schedule 1 supports this, this, I say it is very likely that this will be embedded in existing strategies for speedrunning. I'm not sure right now how exactly this will be used, but I'm pretty positive it will be used at some point, especially with the aim assist while harvesting bud. And if you had no idea Schedule 1 even had a speedrunning community, or if you have any interest in speedrunning, I have a playlist on my second channel, Big Willie Uncut, of previous and current world record attempts that I've completed. And you can even watch me try to beat the world records on one of my live streams. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, and as always, stay silly, y'all.